compare then to now, the difference between long-term and short-term rentals is generally the same, where short-term rentals are going to bring in a higher daily rate. If you think about it, you're really, and it's not nearly as passive. You're operating a hotel at this point, but that means more income, right? A hotel room rents for $100 to $300 a night, depending on a market. That's far more than just a whole house alone in a market would rent for. So you just kind of look at that comparison. Short-term rentals make more money, and you can self-manage them. You can self-manage one or two pretty easily. Once you get a kind of a handful, it gets to become really tiresome, you know. So I learned very quickly how to automate and how to build a team around that, virtual assistants and local folks and things like that. So I became really good at managing short-term rentals from afar because it became necessary for my cash flow goals. But generally, it really depends again on the market saturation levels at this point. But you're looking at close to double the total cash income, gross revenue on a short-term rental. It could be 3 or 4x depending on the market. It could be slightly less in some. The danger right now is that a lot of folks are still looking at 2022 numbers, like the inflation, all this extra money that came around. Well, shoot, short-term rental nightly rates went up 30% in 2022. Guess where they're not at anymore, right? So people bought those properties at top dollar with low interest rates, thinking, hey, I'm going to print all this money. Well, no, we're back to kind of 2020, 2021 rates now. So if you had to still buy right for that to still make sense. So short-term rentals has gotten a lot harder. It's not impossible. The key, in my mind, to short-term rentals right now is to either focus on burr properties, where you are actually doing a renovation and improving the property, as well as focusing on super unique, super Instagram-worthy properties. I mean, you can make a house down the street super unique and super cool. And that's going to bring you to the top of the list. But even more unique properties, like I have a geodesic dome in Colorado, always full because it's so unique. It's so cool that little 2-bedroom dome is still renting for 250 to 400 a night, depending on the season. So really uniqueness is where it's at for short-term rentals, since so many investors got into that space. I would advise anybody that wants to get into it to focus on that. And if you are trying to get into short-term rentals for the first time, go buy one in a market that you'll actually use and can take your family to. That's how we got started, and it was like, this is a game changer, right?